Hey, good morning, good day, good evening. Today's interview is with a tops artist named Lindsey Greyling. She is an amazing artist. She worked on the Women of Star Wars, and since I bought a box of the Women of Star Wars trading cards by Topps, I thought, what better way to make it a little bit more interesting than to talk with one of the artists who worked on the set. We didn't really talk about the set. This is more of an employee lounge sort of conversation, so I apologize if anything sounds a little bit too inside baseball, but it's a great look behind the curtain at how the different Topps freelance artists interact with each other. And look, I hope you like it. It's a nice breezy 45 minutes or so with lots of things going on around as well. Some showing off some of her work and showing off the box break and our conversation together. So look, hope you enjoy it and see you on the other side.
My name is Lindsey Greyling. I work for Topps and other various card companies. I've been working on sketch cards for only about 2 years now, I think. 2018 was my first ever card set, and it was Empire Strikes Back, black and white.
Right.
And I took on 40, I think.
I haven't been doing it much longer than you then. I started in 2017.
All right.
Sometimes I keep track of some of the people still doing it today have been doing it since like 2013 and before.
Yeah. I mean, did it take long for you to hear back from them? You know, when you first sent your portfolio off?
Maybe a week.
Really?
Yeah, but I see Marsha got me in, and so because Marsha Parkins gave me
brilliant.
Because she gave me the AD's email and I was able to drop her name specifically, I don't know whether that gave me a leg up or not.
Maybe.
Maybe it just depends on sort of who's doing what at the time. I mean, I think their email roster is like 400 deep. I guess it depends who says yes and who says no, but some people I know submitted every month for like a year, and it took a year to hear back from them. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, how I got started, I was working as a portrait artist and also hand painted leather jackets. And that's where I met Becky Sharp. And she was showing me all she was showing me all the sketch cards she'd done. And I was like, wow, because they're so vibrant, aren't they, Becky's? And do it so small, I was like, and she said, well, send them an email and see what happens. So, I sent my portfolio off. I didn't send them any sketch card size stuff, but just some work. And then that was about February, March. And then, November, that's when I got my first invite. I mean, to be honest, I'd completely forgotten about it because it had been so long. So when that came through, I was like, hey.
So November 2018, so end of 18, yeah?
Yeah. So it must have been about 7 or 8 months before I heard anything from them.
See, I wonder whether Becky had been doing it before that, because I thought she was relatively new too.
No, I think she had been doing it for about a year when I met her.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and what was the first set you worked on?
It was Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, was that Empire black and white? And that?
Because it was black and white. It was my favourite Star Wars film. Just sort of eased me in gently. But the first card I did, it took me about 4 hours. And it wasn't even that good. Because when you first open the pack, you're like, I don't even want to make a mark on it. I'm so scared.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I was terrified to lay a single pen on the cards because I was so worried that that my first line was going to have to be the line, and that if I got anything wrong at the time, I was not as experienced with sort of being able to just screw something up and then paint over the top of it again. And so I would crapping myself the whole time doing that set. And I don't even like to think about the work that I did on that first set. I think probably just because I was so nervous, I was worried about I don't know.
The disaster set was because that first set I didn't get another invite either until Skywalker Saga. So they missed out. They didn't even invite me to the Turtles set. I was so devastated.
Oh.
I was gutted, mate, honestly. But anyway,
I was of two minds on that one because it was so great to get the invite for the turtle set, but when they said that it was like the original comics only, which is mostly black and white, which are a killer, they're awesome. But I mean, you know, I'm a kid that grew up in the early 90s and, you know, I wanted to do animated, I wanted to do the movies, I wanted to do it all. And so like, it was funny because you're kind of almost limited.
This is why I'm such a big Ninja Turtles fan, because you can do so many styles with them and they all look awesome. Like,
yeah,
really enjoyable. So I understand what you're saying with that. You have to stick to a particular style of the original comic. And it is cool, but, you know, it'd be much more fun to do your own thing, wouldn't it?
So do you, with your invite cycle, so do you get invited to almost everything now, or do you sort of just, do they?
Now, yeah. I do now. After ESB Black and White, I didn't get an invite until Skywalker Saga.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first one that I did colour on. And they were shocking. I could not get a good result at all. So I was surprised when they invited me to Masterworks. I was like, oh, invited me back. And because the cardstock for Masterworks was so awesome, I just did my best. I really, really put everything into it. And since then, I've had an invite for every set. So
Masterwork is one of those ones where I was like, oh, they must really like me. Like if they you know, because it was such a premium set and such beautiful cardstock. In my first Masterwork set, they had the wooden cards. And I remember like when I got that invite, I thought, oh, they must actually like what I'm doing, because, you know, otherwise they wouldn't let me draw on this like beautiful cardstock.
It was. I was so impressed with it. I mean, I cleared most of my work for that month and I just solidly put everything into it, because the thing about doing sketch cards is it's great for practice, isn't it? Like when you're copying like realism, you're learning all the different lighting and all, you know, how things look, and you can take that onto all the work, and it's brilliant, like for practice. You don't get paid terrible much. Terrible.
No, I
you don't
get
get
that
paid.
sort of. That's the way you have to look at it, isn't it? Though you have to look at it and go, well, you know, they're paying you a little bit, you know, probably not even the cost of the materials on the card, but then, you know, you couldn't.
The experience is just so valuable, isn't it?
It's... yeah. I mean, they say exposure. And I hate saying exposure because I feel like it's the dreaded word that people say to artists, like, oh, can you do it for exposure? But like, you know, I guess to have your name attached to Star Wars, I mean, there's not really any other way to, way to do it, is there? You know, like it's the perfect stepping stone to kind of be able to go to other companies and go, look, I work for Star Wars, I work for Lucasfilm. You know, it's all through Topps, obviously, but, you know, it has to go through the levels. So at the end of the day, all your work does get approved by someone at Lucasfilm at some point.
Yeah. Well, this is a good thing about it. I mean, the way I look at it, what I'm working towards with Topps would be trying to do a base card, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, oh God, Louise Draper's stuff she's done recently.
Oh.
You seen it?
I saw it, you know what? I saw it and then I thought, oh, that's why I haven't heard a single thing from her in so long. Those like Carlos and Chris and Louise must just be under like a real tight contract to say, don't say anything about the work you're doing for Stellar Signatures, because otherwise we're going to have 500 artists coming at us from every angle, you know, wanting to do it. But I mean, really, she is at the top. She is up there with the top.
The time I saw her work, I was doing Mystery Science Theatre 3000 for RRParks.
Richard, yep.
He's brilliant to work for, isn't he, Richard? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. They just look real. They just look like photos. How do you do that? Just amazing.
Her thing is her skin tones are the thing that drive me crazy, because she puts so much color in, and it's like I'm not brave enough to like put that much color into someone's face, because I'm worried that they'll end up looking like Donald Trump or something, you know, like just bright orange.
I've always had a problem with that too.
Yeah,
I've always been scared of that as well. Yeah.
I'm always like pulling back and feeling like, oh, I don't want them to look like too pastel and too light. But you know, obviously it's when you take that, you know, they've taken that leap and they know what they're doing. And I remember having a little bit of back and forth with her. I mean, she is classically trained artist. So, I mean, you know, oh, she deserves it for sure. You know, she's been
beautiful.
But I mean, just speaking about Richard and that, what have you done? So Richard is RRParksCards. But what have you?
It was Attic Cards and RRParks that I got on with next after Tops.
Right.
So RRParks, it was Mystery Science Theatre to start with.
Yep.
And I really did my best. I put all the backgrounds in and everything. Because when I first started doing it, I thought, well, I know everyone just sort of does a blank background and, you know, because it's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just have enough time. But, you know.
That's why again, all my cards are close-ups.
Yeah. No, you learn. My first Star Wars set, that's why it took me so long. Because I was doing backgrounds and, like, loads of characters in one scene, and it just took too long. But, yeah, Mystery Science Theatre for RRParks, and I started on an Easter Bunny set for Attic Cards, but I don't think it ended up getting released. There was I think there were a few problems going on.
Yeah.
And I also did Florida Man for Attic Cards.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I did see something about it. Yeah. Did you? You said before we started recording that you're working on Manos and that. Did you do any of the other? Did you do Ultraman or Sharknado?
I did 10 Ultraman. I did Sharknado, yeah. Did Sharknado. I didn't do too many Ultraman. I did Ultraman in realism style, and if I could do it again, I might have gone a bit more comic book with it. Because I like to do realism and cartoons and mix it up. And that's the nice thing about Richard with this Manos set. He said, don't do realism, do your cartoon stuff. And it's nice to have someone who believes in your style. Do you know what I mean? And
well, he's definitely good like that. I think he's more in tune with artists and that, and knowing that everyone's got their different style. And I was just talking to someone else about it the other day. Like you've got Logan, I think it's Manette, and he does all like pointillism, like dot work and stuff. And then some people like Jamie Cosley do really cartoony type stuff. And then you've got your realism people. And then you've got like, you know,
I love Jason Miller's cartoon stuff. I love the way he does noses and he puts
he does that he does that very distinctive, almost like a bubble in nose and that. Actually he was someone I noticed. He was someone I noticed on Instagram and that, and I thought, oh, that's a really unique style, because all of his characters, it's almost like an animator style where every character looks the same almost, but they still look like the person they're supposed to be.
Well, this is the tricky thing about it, and that's what Richard asked me to do for Manos, like, because I've got a very cute style, but taking realism and making it more comic book, I've never been great at that. Let's see if I can, like, I tried really, that's my Manos, one of my Manos.
Yeah.
So that's me trying to do, you know, a comic book kind of realism, but it doesn't end up going. But I've been putting more sense of humour into it recently. Because I think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted them quite funny. So, and I'm trying to be too serious when I first started. So yeah, no, it's been good to practice that.
But that's why he's good. Like Richard's good like that. Like he doesn't mind you having a bit of a laugh with it and having a bit of a, you know, taking a bit of liberty with it. And
I mean, most of his sets are comedy related, aren't they? He loves humour. So
yeah,
I'm pleased to be working with him.
I'm just trying. Who else have you done work? Did you do? Who else have you done work with?
Recently, I did Krampus for Attic Cards at Christmas time.
So did I. Yeah.
Well, that was loads of fun. I loved that. I made this little character and just made him really mischievous and having a laugh with, you know, his little demon friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But Perna Studios saw that, and they were like, right, well, we're doing fairy tales. Come and join us. And I was like, so I did fairy tales, and they sold out immediately. I did not even have to advertise them. I was like, wow. Studios is awesome.
Perna is one of those ones that I would have loved to have gotten on with in that, but I need to work on my imagination a little bit more, in that they wanted more. They didn't want that's right. They didn't want like a copy paste style. They didn't want it to look like, you know, you've used a specific reference or anything. They wanted a very like original individual style, you know, which is something that, you know, I'm working on. but it just haven't sort of, I don't know, I'm still sort of getting around that.
It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, trying to find a style, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I don't think I ever will.
oh, you will, you'll get there.
Well, I think it's more just your tastes change, don't they? So as you see more people and you go like, oh, I'll take a little bit of that, and I'll take a little bit of that, and I'll take the way that guy does, you know, shading, and I'll take the way that guy does like a thick black outline around silhouettes, and I'll take a bit of this and a bit of that, you know.
Yeah. Have you got all your bits printed? Get them printed, stuck on the wall, and you can go, oh, like.
Yeah, I've got like everywhere. I've got books and things everywhere, and sometimes I just sit in bed with books and just go like, oh, tomorrow I think I'll try and, you know, do a bit more square edge on the lines, or I'll try and do a bit more, you know, color backgrounds and that. I was talking to someone else about the first time I'd seen Dave Gaskin's work. Actually, it's funny how many UK artists there are, right?
I don't know, yeah, there's tons.
We've spoken about Dave, Becky, Marsha. You've got yourself there, and then there's at least a half dozen others.
Carolyn Craggs, I think she's from the UK.
Yeah. And like Dave's stuff, I mean, the first stuff I saw of his was for a UK-based company called Unstoppable Cards, and they did a Terminator 2 set, and his cards
are good on that. It's so neat.
Those,
isn't it?
Terminator was lit so well, like there's a lot of blue and a lot of orange and stuff, and so his cards his Terminator cards were just like all blue lit, you know, maybe with an orange highlight or something like that. I mean,
I love lighting them. They sound
incredible.
Really
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Again, it's just those techniques actually. Like I noticed actually when I was just looking at a few of your cards, you know, just leading up to this and that, I noticed that like you do some of yours in black and white, and then you do some of yours in color. Like, is that do you sort of do them all in black and white and then go, look, if I've got time, I'll go back and do a bit of color? Or do you decide it's like 1 in 10 or 1 in 5 I'll do in color, or what?
It's finding what works for you and what you can manage to do in the time. I mean, what I tend to do, the reason I've been choosing black and white instead of colour was because of the Skywalker nightmare I had, Skywalker saga. And I thought, you know, if worst comes to worst, I can just do them all in black and white.
Right.
But I also want to experiment, and they don't accept black and white and colour mix as full colour, do they? So if I chose full colour, I would not be able to do that. Part of what I'm doing now is I am experimenting within the sets. So what I'm going to do in future, I think I'm going to make mini sets within a set.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've done a couple of shiny lost cats kind of thing, so they can chase the lost cats. Or I'm gonna try going that way with it, so the styles still match, but the whole set won't match, if you know what I mean. Sure.
Yeah.
Just trying to get comfortable with it and getting a rhythm that I can keep up with, because I took 77 this time, and that's the most I've ever taken.
That's a lot of sketch cards. But you're talking about holocron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the benefit, well, you know, if you want to turn a bad situation into a good situation, with all the lockdown stuff that's happening, obviously the lead time on that set is probably the best lead time we've ever had on a sketch card gig probably since I've ever had any jobs, really.
Well, that's what I thought. But it's a double-edged sword as well, because obviously schools are closed, and I've had the little one here trying to work in between mumming and cleaning and cooking, and getting there though. Like I said, last day, and then.
But when's the cutoff for that set?
I think it's 3rd scans are due.
Okay, so not far now. So
not too long. I'm also doing at the moment. I'm doing Blood Drive. Yeah, Blood Drive.
Oh, is that the retro something set?
Yeah. You see this bat guy?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm allowed to show you them, but they are so fun to parody. I've done Skeletor. I've done a Gremlin. Like loads of fun.
I saw it. I've been seeing that all over Instagram as well. That Retro Drive Retro Drive is the company, isn't it? So
is it Retro Drive? I was trying to figure out what the company name was.
It's something like that. Yeah. Did you ever collect cards yourself?
I didn't. Well, when I was in my 20s, when I first found out about sketch cards, I went on eBay just to see what art was selling, and sketch cards were selling the most. And I had this little cat character I'd designed, so I'd just do little doodles of him, nothing, you know, nothing great, just little ink doodles, and sell them for a few quid each, you know.
Yep.
And then, because I had a day job, I was working in a supermarket at that time. And nothing against the job, but anything that wasn't art would have made me miserable, no matter what it was. So I had my son, and when he was about 18 months old, I thought, I don't want him to look at me and think you're in a job that you hate and you're miserable and that you can't work hard and achieve, and, you know. So I thought, right, quit my job, went back to college, got my degree. And also that instilled a lot of work ethic to just keep going and not mess about and, you know, get it done. You know, obviously because you've got to meet deadlines and whatever.
So you actually have a degree in art?
Yeah, I got a first.
Excellent.
I was very proud of
better than I have. I'm a high school dropout, so.
the last year of your degree is awesome though, because they just let you do whatever you want. So really? I developed my own webcomic and brand while I was there, and the dissertation, I researched publishing, because it was all stuff that I needed to know anyway, and all stuff that I wanted to do anyway, and I got a qualification out of it, so best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, when I first set up my business, I was doing portraits, but I was selling them so cheaply, like really, really low prices, you know, just to build my portfolio up. So the first year was a struggle, but now I make more than I did, you know, in my day job. So I'm getting there. I'm not loaded or out, but you know, managing.
Well, I guess that's, you know, that's sort of the it's the trade-off, but it's also the only way you're going to make it happen, isn't it? Like I'm starting now to get to a point where it doesn't replace my income, but it replaces an income. Like if I didn't already have my day job, my business that I do every day, if I was just somebody, like you said, if I was just working at, you know, the local grocery store 35 hours a week and, you know, taking home, I don't know, 500, 600 bucks a week, I could easily replace that with art alone at the moment, which is great. I never thought that. I mean,
I was only working part-time, so I didn't have to make up a great deal of money, you know, to equal what I was getting. I have to work harder, but then again, the job satisfaction's there and you're happier, so it's swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing, isn't it? Is you would have to work harder, I mean, really, to make your, especially since with, like, I don't know about you necessarily, but I feel like I find it hard to put time frames on art and stuff. So like I find, like, if somebody commissions me to do something, in my mind it takes as long as it takes. So whether it takes 2 hours to complete or if it takes 2 days, and that's kind of the tricky bit, is working out how to almost put your work into like a compartment where you know how long it takes to do line work, how long it takes to do color, and seeing if you can kind of, you know, somebody says they want an artist proof and you say it's whatever, 100, 200, whatever it is, that you kind of know how long that's going to take you, which I haven't got to yet. Sometimes it takes me an hour and sometimes it takes me 5 hours.
You never know how long it's going to take you to get the result you want, do you? Like, I mean, I've had cards I've done that they've had hardly any shading on, but I've managed to capture the expression.
Yep.
You know, and the mood of the picture. So they've sold for as much as a colour one I've spent 4 hours on. It's all how it looks in the end, I think, not how much time's gone into it that makes it appealing, isn't it?
Well, because it's your name. Once you start putting your name on things, especially when you're putting your name on things that have an actual known brand on them, then you know, you're sort of a bit more mindful of like what you'll put out there, you know, and that's why I see in the group a lot, in the Tops artist group, you see people and they pain over it because, you know, their deadline's running short and they haven't got quite all the work done yet, and they're just devastated that they might not be able to put out. They're devastated that all the work they're going to do might not meet the standard that they would normally be used to.
Oh no, it does. I've seen a lot of posts like that, bless them, where they want to put their art into it and put everything into it, but when you haven't got much time as well, it's very difficult, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm quite. We've got families, don't we? You know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm fast at black and white, really fast at it. Not fast at colour. It takes me about 4 hours a card, but yeah, black and that's why there's a mixture, because they're just so much quicker for me to do, and I can mess about and put different colours on and bit of splash colour if you want, you know.
What mediums do you use for your colours?
I didn't do colour work for such a long time. I was all pencil sketches, but now I do a Copic base, and then pencil spraying on the top. And I've noticed a lot of other people do that as well. And then you've got your white pen to add your details, and you kind of get used to it. Sorry, I'm just going to shut this door. It's doing magic.
Sure. I think that's when talking about mediums and stuff. I think like that's the thing that I seem to never be on a never-ending quest for, is the perfect white gel pen or the perfect white ink pen, and that like the Sakura jelly rolls. Those are really good, but when they start to get to the end of their life, they get very transparent. And then I would try. Posca make really great paint pens, but they're not very fine. And it just, I must have I must just have fistfuls of different kinds of white pens, you know, just trying to.
In the beginning, I couldn't get them to work. Because you've got to pump it for ages, shake it about, and I can't get any of these to work. And then Becky said to me, she was like, just shake them. Like, you have to do it for a while. Look great.
Did you do most of your degree just black and white work, did you?
I'm trying to think I don't think I've got anything out to show you.
No, but you were just saying about you're not big on doing colour work and stuff.
Well, no, when I went back to college, thing is, at that college, they've always really loved how I sketch. I can do nice sketches. So they were trying to encourage that, and I was like, look, I know how to do that. I can develop that myself. So while I'm here, I want to learn more computer skills, because that's what I need to develop. So my webcomic was digital. Because I just wanted to learn how to use paths better, and a bit more Photoshop skills. Because everything else, like I say, I can teach myself and develop myself. I didn't need them for that. So they were frustrated with me, because they were like, we like this kind of work that you do. And I'm like, yeah, I know you do, but I can do that. I don't need to do that here,
Yeah. Oh, the digital side of things, I'm just learning that myself, and that it's such a steep learning curve.
It's so handy though, when you're sorting out your composition and whatever. Like, if you sit and draw out a composition and then go, oh, I'd like that a little bit over there or a bit smaller, then you've got to do it all again. Like, it's just pointless. Like, if you learn your Photoshop, it's great for composition and all that. So I don't tend to use it for actual artwork that much. Like, occasionally I'll scan in a pencil drawing and then just put a colour over it, so all the shading's already there. Like, that's what I did with these. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, wow. So
that's just one colour.
Right. And did that start traditional and then finished in digital?
Yeah, just sketched it all in traditional, scan it, and just block colours over it and done. So, you can get pictures done pretty quickly, but no, I don't enjoy working digitally. It winds me up.
It gets the job done.
Why are you doing that?
And so what's next, or what is it? Do you have you thought about like where you want the sketch card thing to take you? Do you want it to like move? Do you want, like you said, base card, obviously, which we would all love to have a base card, but are you hoping to do like toy packaging or posters, or what's your like pie in the sky thing?
God, I don't even know anymore. I mean, when I was young in my 20s, it was character design. I loved character design. But as I've got older, I've realised that that's not my special skill. Because you always admire other people for the stuff they can do that you can't, and you kind of want to be like them. But you've got to realise you are who you are, and you do what you do, and develop that, and ignore what they're doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know, it would be getting my own personal art style out, you know. I mean, it was good with this fairy tale set because, you know, people loved my style, and you know, they're coming back for it. I've got a queue for when I get my personal sketch cards of people who want things doing.
Yep.
So that's amazing. Because, you know, I mean, it's great working for Topps, but you know that those customers are kind of buying your stuff because it's Star Wars.
Sure.
You know, like, you want them to come to you for everything, you know, but...
Oh, yeah, I've had that thing where, you know, you could say somebody asks you for a quote on an artist proof, and you might say, you know, whatever, like, just call it $100. And then they go, oh, you know, maybe 100's out of their budget. And you go, well, I could do it on a personal sketch card for half that. And then they're like,
yeah,
I'll kind of want the logo on it. And we're like, oh, well, like.
Well, it's proper merchandise, and, you know, that if that's what they're into, that's what they're into.
Yeah.
So it's nice to think, you know, I can take that style onto personal sketch cards and I'll still have custom for it, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's where I'd like that to go. But I love doing sketch cards because I really struggle to finish big pictures. Like, if it takes me more than a day, I get annoyed.
Yeah.
And fed up with it, I'm not playing with that anymore, you know. But so sketch cards are like perfect for me, really. And now that I've had the practice of drawing small, and yeah, I mean, it was horrible to begin with. You know, you get one little line wrong and it just knocks the whole likeness out, and it's infuriating. But once you get the hang of it,
I'm still getting that, and sometimes I still look at like cards that I've done, and if you don't get like the position and all of us, you're looking back on it, at the time it looked good, and then you're looking back on it like a couple of months later and you realize that you've drawn them cross-eyed or something, or at least it looks cross-eyed. You know, because like we're so good. That's the thing with likeness, isn't it? Is that like our brains are so good at processing. Our brains are so good at processing such minor details in people that you could draw a character that you've seen 1,000 times, and you can tell, even if you can't tell the exact line that's done wrong, you can kind of look at it and go, oh, it's just not quite right. Which is why I get jealous of people like you were saying about like Jason Miller, and you got those people who have their like their actual style, where it's like, well, he's not trying to make it like, it does look like Mark Hamill, but it does, but it's not the same Mark Hamill that, you know, like Carlos or Chris or whoever would do, but it's still instantly recognizable. I get so jealous of that because I'm like, Jesus, like he's done like he's done a comic book style. It's in his own style. It looks perfect. And then I've done it and it's like 95% there. And there's just something about it that's bugging the hell out of me, but I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, when you're doing like ink outlines, because he does ink outlines, doesn't he? Yeah. And to know, like you say, where to put those lines to still keep the likeness and just simplify it right down. No, it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Awesome.
Nightmare.
Well, look, thank you very much for jumping on and having a chat. I hope this sort of, you know, gets to where it needs to be, and hopefully you get your name out there. Why don't you just, I'm going to let you go, and I'm just going to let you say all your social media tags and your pages and wherever people want to find you. So let everyone know where they can find you.
Okie doke. I'm a bit rubbish on social media, but I'm a cartoon cosplay on Facebook, cartoon cosplaying on Instagram, and I haven't got a website yet. I'm currently setting it up, and as soon as that's set up, you can order PSCs from my personal sketch cards with proper backs. So that's about it for my social media presence.
So cartoon cosplay and cartoon cosplaying.
Yep.
Perfect.
On Instagram.
Yep.
But I don't. Facebook's better to get in touch with me. I'm not on Instagram very much. So
everyone who's watching this, who's not from Australia or England, when she says quid, it means dollars, right?
I don't know how many Yorkshire slangs I've done in this conversation. There's probably people. What are you talking about? I've had my little third ear sort of open, thinking like, oh, am I going to have to bring up? Quid was the one, and I thought, am I going to have to bring up, like, is there anything else like where, you know,
Like it's real slangy that I'll have to sort of explain later on. But I think people got the.
I'm actually not bad at speaking. I grew up. My mum corrected me the whole time when I was growing up. Every time I use slang, so I can speak okay compared to a lot of people.
So there it is, my interview with Lindsey Greyling. Now, Lindsey has very kindly donated a piece of original art to give away along with this episode. A beautiful poster-sized piece, A3, of Princess Leia, all done with acrylics. That should pop up about here. And if you want a chance at winning that, I have included a question in the show description. All you need to do is answer that, send me the answer back, and we will put all the names into a random generator in a couple of weeks and pick a winner from there. So I also want to thank everyone for sticking around, watching these videos. I'm getting better with editing and generally talking into a camera. So I appreciate all of that. I definitely appreciate Lindsey spending the time to talk to me, and we have more coming up. So thanks again and have a great day.